One of the most important things in soap opera acting is reacting. This does not mean acting again.
Hey, it's me, it's JSB, and today on Acting is Reacting, well, today is the Song versus Song, where I listen to two related tracks and try and pick a favourite. Today I'm listening to Lindisfarne and their tracks Lady Eleanor and Run for Home. Now, if you don't know Lindisfarne, they are an English folk rock band formed in Newcastle in 1968. The original lineup, who we will hear featured on both of these tracks, comprised of Alan Hull on vocals, guitar, and keyboards, Ray Jackson on vocals, mandolin, and harmonica, Simon Cowell, that's without L's at the end, Simon Cowell on guitar, mandolin, banjo, and keyboards, Rod Clements on bass guitar and violin, and Ray Laidlaw on the drums. And the story is quite long and quite complicated, but the group does still exist today, but only with Rod Clements from that lineup still involved. Yeah. The ins and outs of the band over the years is a tale to be told, but not by me and not today. So unlike most of what we've heard on the channel so far, I'm not really a massive authority on Lindisfarne, and although I did know the name, I don't think I'd ever actually heard them until, when was it? A couple of years ago, I guess. Sam Fender did a documentary about them. More specifically, he did a documentary about Alan Hull, and I believe that is available on YouTube, so I will post a link to that in the description if so. So if it's not in the description, either it's not available or it is available and I just forgot, so you might want to double check that, because, you know. Anyway, so Alan Hull wasn't the band's sole songwriter, but he's probably the most celebrated within the group, and he did pen both of the tracks that we're listening to today, which are two of the band's biggest hits in the UK and the only two that actually charted at all in the US. So we will start with Lady Eleanor, which actually opened their first album, Nicely Out of Tune, and that album was produced by John Anthony and released in 1970. Initially, it didn't chart. The song was released as a single, it didn't chart. And then the following year, they released the second album, Fog on the Time, which was a huge success, #1 album. Wikipedia says it was the #1 selling album in the UK in 1972. I haven't verified that, but it's probably true. So after that success, they came back to Lady Eleanor and re-released it, at which point it made it all the way to #3. So it did chart in the US, but only barely reaching number 82. Something else Wikipedia tells us about the song is that it features the band's characteristic combination of mandolin playing by Ray Jackson and close harmony singing, and has lyrics inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's 1839 short story, The Fall of the House of Usher. Poe obviously also an inspiration for all of the first Alan Parsons Project album, which had a side dedicated to The Fall of the House of Usher, but in instrumental form, so not too much crossover there. And no, I've never read the story, and I haven't even seen the TV series, even though I have worked with the director. Okay, I will have the lyrics on hand. This is one of those groups where lyrics are pretty important, and we will see what Lady Eleanor has to offer us. Nice slow build to introduce the band as it effectively was if you were hearing their first album for the first time. I'm sure they would have edited bits of this out for a single release, though, hey?
I see plain magicians sitting lotus on the floor, barely dancing beauty with their power-driven soul. Had my share of nightmares, didn't think there could be much more. Then in walked Roderick Usher with the Lady Eleanor. She tied my eyes with a ribbon of a silken ghostly thread, I gaze with troubled vision on an old four-poster bed, where Eleanor had risen to kiss the neck below my head, and bid me come along with her to the land of the dancing dead. But it's all right, Lady Eleanor. All right, Lady Eleanor. I'm all right where I am.
I'm tempted to the land of the dancing dead. Fancy that.
She gazed with love and beauty like a mother to a son, like living, dying, seeing, being all rolled into one. Then all at once I heard some music playing in my bones, the same old song I'd heard for years, reminding me of home.
Same old song I'd heard for years, reminded me of home. That will link us to the next track.
Lady Eleanor. All right, Lady Eleanor. I'm all right where I am. Then creeping on towards me, licking lips with tongues of fire, a host of golden demons screaming lust and base desire. And when it seemed for certain that the screams could get no higher, I heard a voice above the rest screaming, "You're a liar." But it's all right, Lady Eleanor. All right, Lady Eleanor. I'm all right here in your arms.
Okay, that was Lady Eleanor, and what a track it is. I'm not really surprised that it wasn't a hit first time around, and I'm sort of surprised that it was on the second go, because great song as it is, it's not your typical poppy fare for the teens to dance and bop to, as I'm sure teens did in 1970 or 71. These lyrics are very good. Let's have a look at them. Actually playing magician sitting lotus on the floor, belly dancing beauty with a power-driven saw. Had my share of nightmares, didn't think there could be much more. Then in walked Roderick Usher with the Lady Eleanor. She tied my eyes with ribbon of a silken ghostly thread. I gazed with troubled vision on an old four-poster bed, where Eleanor had risen to kiss the neck below my head and bid me come along with her to the land of the dancing dead. And then that chorus, which is, it's memorable. It's not super catchy, but it's all right, Lady Eleanor. All right, Lady Eleanor. I'm all right where I am. And in the next verse, she gazed with a loving beauty like a mother to a son, like living, dying, seeing, being, all rolled into one. And all at once I heard some music playing in my bones, the same old song I'd heard for years, reminding me of home. And then the final verse, and creeping on towards me, licking lips with tongues of fire, a host of golden demons screaming lust and base desire. And when it seemed for certain that the screams could get no higher, I heard a voice above the rest screaming, "You're a liar." And the final chorus differs slightly. He's not all right where he is. I'm all right here in your arms. So he has succumbed to this supernatural force, for better or for worse. Probably for worse, because that's how supernatural forces work. Yeah, great song. And that will lead us to the next tune that we're listening to, which is Run for Home. So we're skipping ahead a full 8 years for this one to 1978's Back and Forth album, which This time it's produced by Gus Dudgeon. Of course, he is best known for his work on all those 70s Elton John albums, though he's got a long list of credits beyond that as well. As I mentioned before, the band's history was long and complicated, so I won't go into it too much, as we shall hear very shortly. Now, this one is described as an autobiographical song from Alan Hull about the rigours of touring and relief at returning home. So let's check this one out. This is Run for Home. '78, remember, this is what we're told is the height of punk. But this was a top 10 hit.
I've traveled the land with a guitar in my hand and a night ever hoping for some fun. I've made some mistakes, had my share of the breaks, seen the boys on the make and on the bum. Run for home,
Run as fast as I can. Whoa, running man.
running for home. Run for home, run as fast as I can. Whoa, running man, running for home. I've seen all the frowns on the faces of the clowns and the downs that they take just to be free. And I've seen all the girls and their pretty frocks and curls, but they don't mean a lot to me. Run for home, run as fast as I can. Whoa, running man, running for home. I've been to the places in town where the faces hang round just to stare at each other. I've ballooned with them, screamed at the moon, behaved like a buffoon, but I soon discovered. Run for home, run as fast as I can. Whoa, running man, running for home. Run for home, run as fast as I can. Whoa, running man, running for home. Run for home, run as fast as I can. Whoa, running man, running for home. I've traveled the land, made mistakes out of hand, seen the faces in the places misunderstand. Yes, I've traveled the world, seen the pretty boys and girls, heard the noise that destroys and commands. Run
For home, run as fast as I can.
running man, running for home. Run for home, run as fast as I can.
Really, that was Run for Home. I said before that I was a bit surprised that Lady Eleanor was a hit. I'm not surprised at all that this one was a hit because that chorus is super catchy. And yes, I did sing along a tiny bit a couple of times because I just couldn't stop myself. And I do apologise as ever. Blah blah blah. Don't mention it. We'll just move on. Okay. Thank you. So this one is, I guess, a simpler tune in terms of the lyrics and the storytelling, but still very well done stuff from Alan Hill. We've got lyrically, I travelled the land with a guitar in my hand and an eye ever open for some fun. I've made some mistakes and my share of the breaks, seen the boys on the make and on the boom. It's bomb for those who don't speak Northern. And yeah, that chorus, run for home, run as fast as I can. Whoa, running man, running for home. That gets repeated a fair amount through the song, but doesn't get tiring. And then the second verse, I've seen all the frowns in the faces of the clowns and the downs that they take just to be free. And I've seen all the girls in their pretty frocks and curls, but they don't mean a lot to me. All the wonders of the road. Probably a case of the grass is always green. Everybody thinks that that's fantastic to go out there and meet all the pretty ladies all around the world, but when you're out there, you just want to be home. And kind of relate to that. Not that I've ever done massive amounts of touring. I have been away from home for filming work from time to time, but for a week or so. Not quite the same. So it's a more personal song than Lady Eleanor, which is more not literally based on literature. Whatever phrase I'm looking for there, fill in the gaps yourself. So yeah, they're two quite different songs and both excellent. So the question is, how am I going to pick a favourite, and what will that favourite be? If I was doing it solely on catchiness, then it would be Run for Home. But taking everything into account, the songwriting and the storytelling and the lyrics, on balance, I'm going to say Lady Eleanor gets my nod as my favourite. Even though I might listen to Run for Home a little more often, because that's one of those songs that you can just listen to any time, whereas Lady Eleanor requires more of a close listen, I think. So yeah, I mean, you could go either way, and feel free to agree or disagree down below. And if you want to tell me any other favourite Lindisfarne tunes of yours from over the years, especially if there's some really obscure things from all the albums that didn't chart, of which there were a fair few over the decades, and of which I know nothing really. I really only know things from the first three albums and this track from the fourth album, which is really the sixth album. I said it was complicated, didn't I? But yeah, that was Lindisfarne. I hope you enjoyed listening along with them to me. Listening along with them to me, listening along to them for me, with me, to me. I don't know. Sometimes I just speak words, and occasionally they might be in the right order and form some form of coherence. Not today. So I should stop now and see you on the next video, when or indeed if that should ever happen. Bye for now.